boys and girls, welcome back to art. Hopefully you were able to finish last week's lesson with our optical illusion and our color wheel. I'm sorry that it took so long to get it on this week. Ms. Schaff was having technical difficulties with her iPad, and so I was not able to record before. But now problem solved. We're going to start a new lesson, and we're going to be doing this in steps, so you're not doing it all in one day. We're going to do the UFO this week, then we will be doing this part next week, and then you can attach it to another piece and do some in the background if you would like as well. That will be an option if you want to complete that. So we're going to be looking at an artist. She's an American artist that lives in California. Her name is Jen Stark, and she really likes to explore with patterns and color. And so this is kind of something that when we're doing this, we're thinking of her and kind of inspired us for our art project. So today I said we're going to start off with doing our our UFO, and we're going to be using a lot of curved lines. You can see curved lines, and I'm using a piece of white 9x12 paper that we're going to be drawing on. I'm going to draw on a pencil, but I'm also going to have a Sharpie. This is important if you're going to be using wet materials. Also having a nice piece of art paper. If you are not using wet materials, you can use a regular piece of white paper. You can make it smaller than mine. I'm making it a little bit bigger here, but don't feel like you have to use the same exact paper. This is watercolors in this area right here, and that's why I say use a little bit nicer paper. I'm also going to be using crayons. I'm trying to use materials that you guys have at home so that you're not having to go and buy stuff, and I know that you don't have all the things that we have here in the art room. So I'm going to start by drawing mine, and if you notice, I kind of had it at an angle just to kind of give it some movement, like it's moving on our paper, and also kind of gives us a little bit more space with working in when we're doing it this way. So the first line I'm going to be drawing is this line right here, a nice curved line. So I'm going to start it a little bit more up on our paper so that I can create that curved line. And I'd say it's probably the length of your hand, maybe a little bit longer because y'all have smaller hands. Then you're going to create another curved line, creating the top of this spaceship using a curved line like a rainbow. So I'm going to create a curved line. Notice when I'm drawing, I am using a lighter line. I'm not going as dark, so that way if I make a mistake, I can erase it. When I draw really dark, boys and girls, I cannot erase those lines. So the next line I'm going to draw is this nice curved line as well. We're using a lot of curved lines in this, boys and girls, but I'm going to skip maybe the width of my hand, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to create that curved line almost following this line right here, but I'm going to make it a little bit longer than that other line coming up on the sides here. And again, nice and light, so that way you're not, if you make a mistake, you can erase it. So the next thing I'm going to create, and this is really like a very, an oval shape or an elliptical. So I'm going to create these lines right here. And so again, I have my hand back on my pencil instead of way up here where we tend to press down a little bit harder. Sometimes when I want to sketch, I tend to move my hand back so that I draw light. Now, I'm not coming all the way around. You notice that I've made a curved line, but notice I'm up behind this a little bit, so that way I make sure that it looks like it's coming from behind. So I created my shape using the lines right here. I want to move this one up just a little bit. See, but I can erase my lines, and I'm going to create just a little bit more up right there. Now right here, I'm going to use kind of like the letter C, a nice curved line, so that it has almost going in a point right here. And the same thing over here, boys and girls. I'm going to do kind of a backwards C shape or curved line again, so that I bring those together. And then I'm going to come underneath and I'm going to contour this line right next to it, and I'm going to bring that line following it. And you notice when I do that, I'm also going to come from here and bring it down. I'm trying to make my spaceship look like it has shape to it and form instead of just flat on my paper. So I come up here. I don't come all the way around when I'm drawing it. So the next thing I'm going to draw is the bottom, and notice it's just a curved line, like a big smiley face. So I'm going to use my pencil and I'm going to create my smiley face, my curved line, the bottom of my spaceship. So now you can add a door here. I did, but on this one I'm not going to. But I am going to add some circles on here, which are curved lines that we put together, curved line and curved line. But notice I put some that are kind of coming up. That way it made it look like it's on the edge of it and on the other side coming around. So when I do that, I'm just going to create a circle or oval. And since I drew my lines nice and light, I'm able to erase that. And then again over here, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to erase since I made those lines nice and light, and then I can make my other ones. Those are going to become my lights. Now the last thing I'm going to draw is my alien, and this is where you guys can have a lot of fun with this and creating your own alien on the inside. Yours does not have to look like mine. Your UFO doesn't have to look like mine. I'm doing mine, and this is an idea, but if you have some other ideas that you want to add to it, by all means, add your own thing. I am showing you what I am doing in my lesson, but you can add more to it if you want. But in this one, I might add a different alien. So in this case, I'm going to add more of a oval head instead of the one that I have in here. And then I'm going to add a body in it this time. And I'm going to add antennas. And again, I'm just using shapes, lots of curved lines, curved line, lots of curved lines. And again, I'm just going to add an antenna. I'm going to add some eyes. I like to make mine look cute. I don't like scary aliens, but if you want to make yours scary, you may do that. And I'm not even going to add a nose to this one. So I'm going to leave it like that. And so the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to trace the entire thing in black Sharpie. Make sure that if you are using wet materials that you do use a black permanent marker. If you are just using crayons then or colored pencils, then boys and girls, you can use just your regular black washable markers. Just make sure that if you are going to use watercolors that it's permanent so it doesn't wash away. Alright boys and girls, so I have finished outlining it. Notice I added like some more details in here. I added some more lights and circles on the bottom, and I added some lines within here so that I just added some more details. And look, it does look a little different from this one. So like I said, add the details that you would like with your spaceship. This will be this week's part, and then next week we will do the next steps. We're also going to color this, and I used blue watercolors in this area, and that's white crayon so that it resists the paint and the water. And then notice I used some value, which means I'm using some light and dark. I used some three colors actually. I used yellow orange, and I used yellow, and I also used like a dandelion yellow to create this effect that makes it look like the lights are shining, and value. I also added some black shadow in here, you can see, and this is using a gray crayon, but then pressing harder here, and notice it's lighter in here so that I'm creating where it looks like shape and shadow, and we have light. So you're going to use your crayons, and you're going to do the same thing, boys and girls, coloring your spaceship and creating some color so that you are ready with this by next week. So like I said, look, you can see where here I added darker, I pressed down a little bit lighter, and then really light in here just so it gives that movement and color in there. So when you're coloring, add a little bit of shadow, add a little bit of the light when you're coloring in here. I hope you have fun. Be ready next week to continue our lesson, and I will have fun with art, boys and girls. Bye.